Back in 2008, Marvel movies were looking a little shaky. Several franchises had crapped out, and their next best bet, B-lister Iron Man, was no sure thing. And it's not like Jon Favreau had XP making huge budget blockbusters either. But despite the gamble, the pairing of Feige and Favreau turned out to be money, baby. But what if the fledgling Marvel Studios had backed another runner? Someone known for bringing comics to the screen? A visionary? Of sorts. Someone who, against all odds, is still making films today.
With 300, Zack Snyder had proven he could use a camera to copy a comic, something later compounded by Watchmen. That's a turd for another time though. He'd shown he could do action movies, but with no interest from Marvel, he sold his soul to Warner Brothers.
Not a great plan.
Let's imagine it went down differently, and Marvel did come a-knocking. Suspend your disbelief like never before, and for the next few minutes, pretend it's an Elseworlds tale. So, in this alternate reality, what would a Zack Snyder directed Iron Man movie look like?
Marvel's known for its family-friendly, often comedic approach. There's yucks, bucks, and a ton of schmucks. But sadly no With Snyder at the helm, lightheartedness is the first thing to go. And when your trade is oppressively depressing cinema, you need appropriately down material. So what better topic than crushing alcoholism? It's only really touched on in the actual movie, but Tony's a lot of a boozer. The Snyder timeline makes this more central, taking cues from Demon in a Bottle. One slight problem is that Iron Man's already a fully fledged hero during this story, so Zack would need a workaround for the origin stuff to fully establish his character. But a heavy-handed montage intro, set against some political music, should do the trick. With a little inventing, some armoured heroics, and crucially, a few angry mobs.
Snyder films scream directionless narrative. With a raging alky as his hero, he has ample opportunity to make a horribly convoluted story. There's no reason not to throw in a terrorist kidnapping, and if Marvel insisted on a shared universe, a subplot with S.H.I.E.L.D. or Hydra. Because that was all planned. Zack would need to up the action too, so levelling an entire Middle Eastern city seems appropriate. Favreau's not quite in the same league as Snyder when it comes to visionary visuals. But let's face it, who is? As an audience, we need more contrast, much lower lighting, and complete desaturation for full aesthetic appeal. Another shortcoming in the version we got was how little slow motion there was. Luckily, Zack's something of an expert, so vaporizing terrorists in
hyper, super, duper, slow motion
shouldn't be a problem.
With story and visuals wrapped up, let's turn our attention to casting. RDJ has made the part his own. Literally, he's playing himself. But in Snyder's version, Tony be more of a sourpuss. Because how else would an audience understand the grave seriousness of alcoholism? Certainly not with wisecracking. Zack's proven time and again he loves hyper-masculine dudes whose muscles have muscles. So yeah, probably not Rob. We think he'd go with a bigger guy, a previous collaborator, someone who could, on cue, shout his current location really loudly.
This is Sparta!
Okay, Jerry Butler's not the best actor, but he can pull off the facial hair, the booziness, and Stark at least sounds like a Scottish name. In casting Gerard, we find ourselves with a different movie, which is kind of what we're going for with this thing. So imagine, if you will, leaving Las Vegas with more explosions, which would conveniently double up as the movie's tagline. The rest of the cast would of course get the Snyder treatment too.
Zack loves father-son dynamics, so we see Rhodey as a mentor, not just Tony's buddy. Lawrence Fishburne plays an older Rhodey, though that would mean he couldn't play Nick Fury later. With Fishburne in an older support role, the villain would need to be reimagined. Demon in a Bottle introduced us to Justin Hammer, but we don't want too many old dudes. In Zack's version, there's clearly scope to make the villain younger, say a kooky but spooky tech entrepreneur who hates Iron Man and causes problems for our hero, basically because he's an asshole. Shia LaBeouf works perfectly for this bold reimagining. Pepper, meanwhile, is more than just a bumbling but brilliant PA. She also knows Kung Fu and could totally sucker punch anyone who got in her way. Similar to Pepper at the end of Iron Man 3, a total Wonder Woman. Snyder has a history of casting models/actresses that, while easy on the eye, don't offer much gravitas. So it's as simple as selecting the sexiest gal from a lineup of redheads. There's also obviously room for further cameos, which could be achieved efficiently through the use of CCTV footage. The story would reach its painstaking and visually exhausting climax with the sudden, inexplicable appearance of a CGI beastie. Say, Fing Fang Foom. But in a twist ending, Iron Man's killed, because that's a satisfying way to finish a movie that's supposed to be the building block of a franchise, right? But counter twist, it actually turns out to be a fake death. Like all of Marvel's, because all of this is just a fantasy taking place in Tony's severely inebriated and traumatized mind. Something we can all relate to. Right, Zack?
So, in this nightmarish reality we've constructed, how would Zack impact the MCU as a whole? Honestly, it's an unpleasant thought, but given our bleak interpretation, one assumes Marvel would have simply sacked Zack like so many other failed collaborators, which really begs the question how he got that third DC movie. Maybe in this new reality, the MCU wouldn't have become the powerhouse it is today. Maybe shared universes failed to become popular, which may be a good thing in retrospect. Going on his DCEU experience, one thing's for sure, we probably wouldn't be getting Infinity War this summer had Snyder directed Iron Man. Which means Zack would have single-handedly taken down Thanos before he even became a threat.
So there's our take on what the world would look like had Zack Snyder directed Iron Man. Something to avoid, right? If you enjoy this video, then look out for our upcoming What If Roman Polanski had directed Bugsy Malone. Thanks for watching, chums, and do all that good stuff too, like share, subscribe, and smash that like button. Or just click it.